How's it going, guys? It's Blake here from theavidentries.com. Today, I have a vlog update. Want to do this update for you guys. Not really pertaining to all that much regarding, ongoing content and whatnot over on the Avid Entries or the Sanctuary even. I kind of want to talk about some of my writing projects today because it's been a long time since I've sort of did an update on those, and there has just been a lack of updates overall, even on my social media outlets. I really haven't said much at all since, I don't even know, like sometime during the back half of 2017. So I feel like I kind of need to touch base now because a lot of things have sort of changed. My scheduling for things have sort of changed. My ideas have changed as well, and I kind of want to touch on that today. But I guess before I go into that, I guess I could touch on a little bit of the Avid Entry stuff. So right now we have two. So with the two chapters, I should say, that are currently going on over on the avidentries.com. Currently, I believe the chapter is the Trial of Fates. That's going to be tying up and ending probably within the next week or so, as well as a current chapter going on over on the Sanctuary, which is I don't even remember I can't even remember the full title of it because it's such a long title. It's actually the longest title for a chapter that I've ever done. I believe it's oh yes, little by little, we rise again. Whilst bit by bit we beat our end. That is the current chapter going on the Sanctuary, and that's actually that's sort of like more of an arc, and it has three. It's going to be three other chapters. So right now it's on Islander 5. Islander 5 will be tying up this probably within the next week or so as well. I'll be ending that, and then I'll be starting a new one almost immediately. That one will run until the end of May, and then there will be one in June, which will run through most of June. So that's kind of the stuff that's going on both of those sides. Just kind of wanted to just get that out there because, I haven't been doing entries that frequently, but just kind of want to give you guys some insight on the upcoming content, I guess you could say, and over on the sites. So anyway, I do want to talk about some of my literature or writing projects, I guess, today, because it's been a while since I've sort of touched on those. So yeah, it's been a long time actually since, I've sat down and I've written. My dog always wants to come in here and like join. Hey you guys can't see him because, wait, Tuffy, up your head. Okay, yeah, he doesn't want to move anyway. So it's been a long time since I've sort of touched on those, like the stuff I've been writing and stuff like that, and the stories that I've been writing on. So the stories or the seasons and Archers trilogy that I started quite a few years ago, like 2 years ago or so. So that's kind of been on hold for a while, mainly because I've sort of had, I want to say like storyboard changes, not even like storyboard changes, just direction. With the story, I kind of couldn't decide exactly where I wanted to go with things. At some point, I wanted to do medium, or I wanted to originally do the entire story backwards, starting with the last chapter of the story. I wanted to do that first, medium second, or median second, and then preface first. So just to give you guys a heads up, so how it's going to be is obviously the first trilogy, the first arc of the trilogy is entitled Preface, Season and Archers Preface, which is already out. That is all out and done, both in text. You can download the ebook off of Google Books, or you can listen to the audiobook version on that's on Bandcamp. So yeah, I made a dedicated Bandcamp page for that, so you could download that on Bandcamp. But yeah, I finished that a few years ago, and the original plan was to then continue on to Median, which is actually going to be a two-part. That arc is going to be a two-part arc, just because it's going to be a much larger story, and I've gone all over the place with that, and I even originally, or last year, I even was thinking about doing Coda next and then doing Median last. But then I changed my mind on that, and then I was like, okay, I'll go back to doing Median first. but ultimately I've made a completely different decision that I kind of want to touch on just a little bit today, and that's that I am going to be working on I kind of want to call it a side story of sorts that is just different altogether, but it takes place in the same universe. I feel like with where I'm trying to go with the season of Archers, like the overall world of it and the overall story, I kind of want to expand on. Not so much the story, but I kind of want to expand on the lore and be able to, write something that sort of better explains the foundations and the history behind all of the locations and settings that were initially going to be introduced in Median, but now I'm kind of saving that for this side story, which I am deciding to do first, and that I will be working on first. So I've already got a lot of ideas going on in my head. I'll probably start an outline very, very soon. I kind of already have, as far as the story is concerned, I kind of already have it planned out how I want it to go. Luckily, I don't know, maybe this is difficult for other writers, but for me, like, things kind of piece together really, really quickly for me. I'm able to come up with, like, a lot of decent story ideas rather quickly. Like, it doesn't really take me a lot of time. However, I do want to sort of work on a way where I can better describe and better, I guess, sort of encompass the feel of the locations and the settings, and sort of get across the grandness of these places that are going to be introduced in this sort of side story. I really don't. It sounds dumb because I don't know how to word it. How I'm currently wording it. It's just so weird because I just don't want to talk too much about the story yet. I kind of want to save that for a separate video. But that is coming soon, and I think story-wise, tying into Median, it will definitely tie into Median, and it will help things make a lot more sense. And I think overall, it'll just help the entire trilogy as a whole. So, Median is still not going anywhere. As far as the season of Archers is concerned, Median is still the next story, or the next arc that I'm going to be focused on in the story, in the trilogy. And that's still the plan. That's not going to change. However, initially I really wanted to have Median out this year. That's probably not going to happen. At least the full thing will probably not be out this year, realistically speaking. I'm thinking if I put in a lot of hours and I put in the work, this side story that I do have in mind should probably be done by the fall. Or at the very least by the end of summer, by the fall at the latest, and I think then there's a pretty good chance that I could get part one of Median done and out by hopefully by the end of the year. But really, I really don't know. That really all depends. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on as far as the Season of Archers sort of trilogy goes, where I'm taking the story. There's a lot of ideas that I really have that I just don't really feel like talking about right now. I think I will save that for a dedicated video. I just kind of want to keep it on the download just for now. Like, I like to reveal and announce things sort of in a more organized fashion. So there's that. Secondly, I kind of want to touch on some of the poetry collection stuff as well, because ever since I released the Ice Cave poetry collection, I think that was back in 2016. Ever since I released that, I've sort of stagnated on just poetry in general. Like, I haven't really been all that much into it. The Prologue Plains poetry collection, or that's sort of a smaller thing, I've sort of just delayed. And Castles as well, obviously I'm not going to get to that until that poetry collection, until the Prologue Plains is done and everything. And a lot of the poems for the Prologue Plains are already finished, but I did want to sort of do some reimagining on them. So honestly, I'll probably go back and sort of not exactly rewrite, but polish up, I guess you can say, a lot of those poems, because a lot of them were written a long time ago. But yeah, as far as poetry is concerned, so chronologically, it was supposed to be the Ice Cave, the Prologue Plains, and Castles. Now, as far as this Places trilogy goes, for the that's the theme that was originally on the Avid entries. It was the Places saga, the Places trilogy, which consisted of the Ice Cave, the Prologue Plains, and Castles Part 1 through 3. Initially, it was just supposed to be through those three poetry collections. However, I've decided once again to do something a lot similar to what I am planning to do with the sort of side chapter, I guess you could say, yeah, sort of side chapter or side story, I guess you could say, with the story with Seasons and Archers. Kind of going to be doing something similar with the Places Saga poetry collection. So this fall, I want to say, not even this fall, by the end of this summer, so sort of the same timeline or the same deadline I kind of have for the side story for the Season and Archers trilogy. So by the end of the summer, I am planning on releasing another poetry collection. This will come after the Prologue Plains. The Prologue Plains will be out this summer. That is a promise. That is 100% promise. It will be out this summer. But this other side story, or this other side poetry collection, rather, will be out by the end of the summer. And this one was this is going to be a lot different. I decided I wanted to do this just because, over the years I've kind of had more time to reflect back on the whole Castle saga ever since it ended, and ever since Lords and Landscapes begun. I kind of had time to look back on it, and a lot of it originally, when it first started, was originally focused on sort of like a lot of it was really focused on rediscovery. It was focused on love. It was more romantic focus, if that makes any sense. But now I've sort of realized that it's much more grander than that. Oh boy, the phone's going off. Of course this happens when I'm doing a vlog. But now I've realized it's much more grander than that, and with that in mind, I kind of want to sort of take out some of those elements and tie them into this side or sub poetry collection that I'll be doing, and have those elements be much more focused in that dedicated side poetry collection, in order for Castles, the poetry collection, to be much more grand. Another thing about the Castles poetry collection, even though that is a bit of a ways off as far as that being done is concerned, that probably won't be finished until the end of the year, at the earliest, I would say. But as far as that is concerned, I will no longer be splitting it up into 3. Yes, on the evidentries.com, when the Castles saga was taking place, or the Castles chapter, I guess we could say, is taking place, or the arc, rather, 1 through 3 was taking place. It was, it was Castles and Castles Part 2 and Castles Part 3, and then Castles 3, I guess. I won't be splitting up the poetry collection into that. So, I won't be releasing 3 separate parts of Castles. Like how I'm doing Median Part 1, Part 2. That's not happening with Castles, the poetry collection. It's just going to be just Castles. It's going to be sort of everything everything throughout those 3 years that the Castle saga was going on. It's going to be all of that kind of culminated into one poetry collection. So that's the plan for that. So yeah, that's kind of the writing projects that I'm going to be working on. So there's just those 2 main things. Obviously, the Prologue Plains is coming, but that's nothing new. But those 2 main things. So we've got the side story for Seasons and Archers, that trilogy. So the side story is coming, as well as a sort of a side poetry collection that is coming also this year. So those are kind of going to be the main 2 things that I'm going to be working on a lot throughout the next several months. Basically, throughout the next, I don't want to say 6 months because that's like December. So basically, throughout the next 4 months or so, those are kind of going to be what I'm going to be focused on writing-wise throughout the rest of the spring and throughout the rest of the summer. So it's going to be a really interesting time to be writing again, because I haven't actively really written anything since... Wow, it's been a long time since I've really actively written anything. It's been a while. Probably, I haven't done that much writing probably since I re-edited Season Archer's preface, which that came out, the written version, I believe I released that in 2014. It was 2014 to 2015. I can't remember exactly, but either way, yeah, it's been a really long time, so it'll definitely be an interesting process and an interesting journey that'll definitely keep updated with you guys on social media. And like I said, I know I didn't go into deep detail about either the sub story or either the side story or either the side poetry collection. I'll be doing separate videos for each of those, kind of going into more detail a little bit later, and also keep an eye out on, you know, my social media pages, which is just my Facebook and or my Twitter, which is at Avid Entries. You know, keep an eye out on those for, you know, more information and more like teases and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm going to be working on. And that's kind of the way you can stay updated with that information if you want to, I guess, follow my writing related work. So anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to touch on today. This has gone for quite a while. I'm just now realizing, yeah, I need to have this up to date too, since I said I would have it up to date. So there is that. This is a much less professional vlog. I feel like I'm just gonna keep these like this unless I'm doing like an announcement like video or something like that. If it's just more, yeah, I'm just gonna keep these super casual because why not? Like I'm not gonna put in like the extra really hardworking effort to make this extremely professional. I'm going to be 100% authentic throughout all of this because why not? I just feel like I need a channel to do that for anyway, and I think this is probably the right channel to do it for. This is as personal as it gets. Anyway, that's going to conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are looking forward to some of this stuff. If you're not, that's cool too. But yeah, if you are, definitely check out my social media pages. I'll have all the links in the description below. And just keep an eye out for future updates regarding both these writing projects. And yeah, updates will be coming really soon. I'm really stoked to start really going in and working on all this. Oof, my memory card wanted to be full throughout the last moment. As I was saying, that's it for me for now. Hope to talk more about this soon. Peace and love, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next vlog.